Hello everyone and welcome back to Scandinavian Design 101. I'm Sanna.
I'm Andreas and we're two Swedes and we love design. And this video is the first of two about the French construction designer, engineer and self-taught architect Jean Prouvé. And he mainly worked in metal and advanced metalworking techniques, and his focus was on innovation.
Yeah.
His designs were simple and practical, easy to assemble and made with cost-effective materials. His career was filled with successful architectural designs, but we're not going to focus on those in this episode. Instead, we're going to focus on the furniture, because that's our thing. Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah.
Jean Prouvé was born in Nancy, France on April 8th, 1901. His father was a painter and artisan, and his mother was a pianist. Artistic professions was far from well paid, and the family was often short of money. The town of Nancy was at the time known for its blacksmith trade and steel industry, but also furniture and glass manufacturing. Prouvé's father and some of his friends founded the School of Nancy, a group of Art Nouveau artists and manufacturers who strived for a revival of the fine arts and to combine everyday life with the arts. This, of course, contributed to Prouvé's progressive attitude and will to make industrial products available to everyone. His childhood dream was to study engineering, but the family's finances didn't allow it because of the World War I. Instead, he was sent to study metal craftsmanship with one of his father's friends outside of Paris. Another one of his father's friends gave him financial support to open his own metal craft workshop in Nancy in 1924. The same year he also got married to one of his father's students, a painter called Madeleine Schott.
Yeah.
Schott? I don't know
How to pronounce it. No. And Prouvé's first products were cast iron lamps, iron handrails and ornamented gates. And soon he got inspired by modernism and designed more daring shapes and started using modern materials. In 1926 he began using and experimenting with the new material stainless steel, handling it with his brand new welding machinery. And this was also the time he got into architecture. In 1927 he got his first architectural commission, and it was very successful, but like we said before, we're not going to focus on his architecture in this video.
No, moving on.
No. And in the late 20s he created his first pieces of furniture, chairs and tables, but also movable wall elements, doors and windows. The first chairs he designed was a folding chair made from sheet steel. And according to Prouvé, the process of designing it started already in 1924, but most researchers dates this chair to the late 20s. It's interesting to compare this chair with a theater chair B1 designed by the Bauhaus teacher Marcel Breuer in 1925-26. And there are obvious similarities, of course. And the Prouvé chair also has similarities with the cantilever chairs by Mart Stam and Marcel Breuer. Not least when it comes to the shape of the backrest. And logically, it was Prouvé who was inspired by Stam and Breuer and not the other way around. But now back to the folding chair by Prouvé. The sketch clearly shows how the material was to be bent and molded, so the metalworker could use it as instructions to work from. 6 of these were made as a wedding gift for Prouvé's older sister in 1929, so we have 1 year there at least.
Yeah.
And one of these chairs was sold by Christie's in 2021 for $373,000.
For one?
Yeah, for one chair.
Well, it's his first chair.
Yeah, his first chair and extremely rare. His second chair, a car seat looking adjustable chair, was only made in one copy and it's like lost, no one knows where it is. The Israeli industrial designer Ron Arad was obviously inspired by this chair when he designed his Rover chair in 1981, but he apparently denies it. I think he said in an interview that Prouvé copied me 50 years earlier. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
By the late 20s, he employed almost 30 co-workers, and the success of his business was based on his multi-talents. He drew and he designed the objects, he handled the machinery, the finances, and he found commissions, and so on.
Yeah.
Of course, he also hired a great team, and their teamwork was said to be exceptional. The manufacturing process started with a sketch made by Prouvé, and within 2 days, a prototype was made. Corrections were made to this, and when it was perfected, it was tested for stability. The furniture were then produced by a small group of workers in a series of 20 or 30 copies. It's said they all worked in one single space, so every co-worker always knew the product's stage development, which allowed them to be super coordinated.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, I don't know if it's true.
Nah, but it sounds like
My
a good way to
source.
work. Yeah. In 1930, he took part in the founding of UAM, or Union des Artistes Modernes. I think I can't pronounce it in French.
We really can't.
But together with colleagues like Robert Mallet Stevens and Charlotte Perriand and Le Corbusier and you know.
The gang.
Yeah. And the purpose was to establish a connection between art and industrial production.
Like his father wanted.
Yeah. And the aim was to create affordable products adapted for common people, made from industrial materials like glass and steel. These ideas was obviously similar to the ones of the Bauhaus school in Germany, for example.
Yeah.
UAM held exhibitions where Prouvé, of course, took part, and he showed his furniture and doors which were characterized by his advanced technique. And in an old picture taken at the 1930 exhibition, one can spot the folding chair earlier mentioned, and also the technically looking Gran Repo easy chair. And this chair looks much like a piece of machinery almost, where all components are visible. And the construction itself functioned as the only design element.
Yeah.
During his career, Prouvé refused to design for the sake of form alone. The form of an object was supposed to reflect the process of its creation, and this is of course the basis of functionalism. Yeah.
The Jean Prouvé studios were soon producing large quantities of furniture for public spaces like train stations, schools and offices. They also experimented with bicycles and trailers.
Yeah.
The company now employed around 60 people, and Prouvé was early to introduce paid vacations and insurance coverage for his workers, which is very nice.
Yeah.
He sounds like a
Nice guy.
Yeah.
Actually, much like the Swedish designer Ingvar Ekström, he had the same idea,
That is
some
true.
paid vacations and
Yeah.
trips to Italy for the employees. And
That's nice.
Yeah.
For the school classrooms, he designed connecting tables and chairs in many different variations made from sheet steel and wood. With this design, the number of legs were reduced to just 4.
Yeah.
Which is crazy for 2 chairs and 2 desks.
Yeah, it's very good in a classroom. Not this huge lot of legs on the floor.
Very clever.
Yeah.
These desks are sometimes offered for sale at auction, often sold for a couple of $1,000s. This is quite cheap for a vintage piece of furniture by Prouvé. But a school bench doesn't really have a function in an ordinary home, and it's...
Yeah, it's bulky, and you can have it like a sculpture if you live very large.
It's not...
Yeah,
Gives
no.
you bad vibes.
Yeah, you don't want to think
vibes.
about school.
No.
In 1931, he won a competition to design furniture for the student dormitory of Cité University in Nancy. And he designed beds, desks, and of course the Cité armchair. And it was made from sheet steel, but still light and inexpensive to produce. And it's a low armchair with armrests made from leather straps and belt fasteners, which makes it them adjustable. Apparently, some older employees told Prouvé the seat was too low, and he responded, "It doesn't matter if you can't get out of it. It's designed for young people." Yeah. Well, it's right, but it is really low, with a seat height of only about 33.5 centimeters. So it's you're almost
You need
sitting on the
good
floor.
knees.
Yeah, you need. The armchair is actually in production today by Vitra, which in 2002 began to reissue some of its designs.
Yeah.
And if you want to buy a new one, the least you have to pay is like $3,600. And if you want an old chair, it will be much, much more expensive, of course. In 2017, the auction house Philips sold a red chair produced around 1930 for $335,000. But that chair was actually once upon a time owned by Prouvé himself,
Oh,
so
okay.
it was, of course, a special
of course.
situation. Yeah.
For this project, he also designed one of his most successful pieces, the standard chair.
No.
This chair and its variations were produced for many years and in large quantities. The chair is an elaboration of a chair with armrest that he made back in 1934 for the offices of the Electric Power Company in Paris. The front legs are made of tubular steel, and the back legs, which bear the weight, are made of much larger pieces of hollow steel. Apparently, the chair could withstand up to 400 kilos or 880 pounds of weight,
Yeah.
which is...
A bit too much almost, because
I don't even know what to say.
many people can sit on one chair.
But it's not
Not that big.
wide
So,
enough.
no, so you can...
It's crazy. The standard chair is in production by Vitra, sold for almost $900. A cheaper version with a plastic seat and backrest is also available, but that's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Old chairs are that is a difficult word.
Yeah, yes.
Old chairs are relatively common on the second-hand market, at least compared by other pieces of furniture by Prouvé.
Yeah.
Prices varies a lot, but a nice set of several matching chairs are always expensive. In 2020, a set of 6 green chairs were sold by Christie's for $164,000.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. Yeah.
They are good looking.
They are very good looking. Perhaps my favorite among his designs.
And can hold a lot of weight.
Yeah, you can put 4 of these chairs and then you can put your car on them.
if you can manage that.
Yeah, if you're gonna change tires. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but this is actually the end of our first video about Jean Prouvé.
Yeah.
And tune in next week to see part 2.
Please do.
Yeah, but if you like this video,
Please click thumbs up and subscribe.
yeah, and follow us on Instagram, of course. We are called Scandinavian Design 101.
Yes, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.